I mean, I think one of the biggest things that I spend a lot of time talking to people about, both in clinic and then when I do resident education, is trying to kind of pull apart this idea of health and weight. People can exist at a variety of weights and be healthy, and people can exist at a wide variety of weights and be unhealthy, right? So we can't really look at somebody and see their weight, their shape, their size, or look at a growth curve, for example, and know much about their health at all, right? And instead, what we really need to begin to understand is the behaviors they're engaging in. And so I think I tend to talk about using a weight-inclusive approach in my clinical practice, and do a lot of teaching about that approach. And what that means is, really trying to kind of, I'm not making the goal of changing somebody's weight when they come in the door of my office. I'm not centering weight in the conversation when they're in my office at all. It's really about what are the behaviors that we know lead to healthy outcomes for people. So things like nutrition, physical activity, stress management, sleep, relationships, right? And so if somebody has all of those things kind of in good working order, right, then the health outcomes are going to come from that. The positive health outcomes are going to come from that. And if somebody has an imbalance in one of those areas, then working with them to address that behavior, right? Like, how can we help improve your nutrition? How can we help get you more active in a way that feels good to you? Because any changes that you can make to sort of improve those behaviors is going to lead to a positive health outcome, regardless of if you change their weight, right? So it's not about doing those things to make the weight go up or down. It's not about looking at someone and saying, hey, your weight's fine, who cares what you're eating, right? It's about thinking about, how do we know, how do we check in with our patients about each of these behaviors and then work with them to sort of maximize those things. That's one of the biggest things that I try to focus on, in my clinical care and in my teaching is keeping the focus on that. And I guess the other thing that you talked a little bit about is weight talk, right? Like, how are we having conversations about weight, about celebrities being too big or too small, about family members being too big or too small, about going home for the holidays and having people comment on weight loss or weight gain. I mean, I think one of the most harmful things that we can do for ourselves and also for our children, for the people who are in our presence, is make those weight-based conversations a part of every day. And they are a part of everyday culture in the United States. And so really thinking about how we can begin to not have those conversations ourselves, and then how we can think about shutting them down. In particular, I do a lot of work with children, in particular around our kids, and making sure that we're just focused on behaviors, not bodies.